So yeah, we're a little bit why the change and why the transition. Um, so usually my bedtime is 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then wake up 6, 7 o'clock. And there are things that I need to get done in the morning, like go work out, personal study, and those type of things that could be done at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when my mind is a little bit more fresh.
Drew, we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think now that I'm transitioning back, preparing to go back to work,
Hmm.
I'm switching back to that schedule too. And crazily, it's just been there are a lot more things in my day now than
Hmm.
there was before.
Yeah.
I was just telling Downey next week I need to wipe the schedule and I don't want to go back to work burned out for sure.
Right. Yeah. You want to go in there fresh.
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
Just just trying to reschedule and yeah,
Oh,
fit
good.
everything in.
Well, I'm not too, high on the horse because it's only been 2 days. I won't- We'll see how long it lasts because
You got it, Drew. We got it.
let's see. Well, I'll start off with a little of the same jingle. I feel like I need to change it, but we'll just go with it until I find something else, something better. Welcome to another episode of the Healthy Practice, Healthy Patients podcast, where we focus on the health of your practice so you can focus on the health of your patients. Here we keep you updated on current events in the marketplace. I'm Drew.
And I'm Tanya.
All right, let's go. Let's get into another episode. So, this past week has been really interesting. Um, I wanted to share a little something. So, here we have a little chart from the Bloomberg, and here you can see the black line is the forecast that the Fed has given, and then in the blue line is actually how it's performing, the interest rate, so inflation, how that's looking like. So basically, the black line is what they can control, and it's a response to what we're seeing in the marketplace, the blue line. So on the left hand side, the timeline starts in March 2023, and then as you go from left to right, you can see it progressing, where the black line is trying to catch up with the blue, and the blue again is how the market is performing. And
Hmm.
as they increase the rates, the black, you can start to see that yes, the blue is high. So for this is says July, 4.9% for the Fed, and then 5.3 is what they forecast, or what they see the market behaving. And it won't be until what they think is end of the year, December, when those two lines will intersect and the interest rates will start to peak around 5.1. In this article, it says 5.3% rate before the interest rates start to go down in the market. So it's kind of interesting. I was kind of optimistic to, fall, August, September, but in
Hmm.
this report, it's kind of showing till the end of the year. I don't know if you have a response or a reaction to that, but it's maybe we're in it for a little longer than we expect.
One thing I do appreciate with certain forecasts um, is conservative assumptions.
Okay. Yeah.
For instance, and I'll take the example of just planning when we're running projections for clients based off of their goals, their desires, their current savings rate, how they're invested, and we're projecting out their ability to be successful and accomplish what they want, but also plan in plenty of buffer for different market returns and things like that. I always appreciate the projections that have conservative assumptions. It's kind of like hope for the best, expect the worst type of scenario.
Right.
Not saying that this is worst case scenario, but as you look at different forecasts, there's tons of different variability
Hmm.
between the different analysts. And often what I find it is the assumptions that they're basing their projections on. So, if you're thinking fall timeline, and you're seeing something like this that is winter, I always like to think that, the planning for worst case scenario can't be a bad thing, right? Because then if you are preparing for August timeline But here, it's saying more of like a December timeline, so you kind of maybe reposition yourself for a little bit longer term. In the event it does come, maybe say summer or fall, you're prepared for worst case scenario and can course correct, accordingly, as opposed to the reverse happening where if you're preparing for uh, December, but maybe then August things kind of change, just the vice versa.
Right.
Um, that would kind of be my initial thoughts at looking at this and thinking of this. I am very conservative in the assumptions that I like to draw.
Okay.
And so I always appreciate that when I'm looking through info and data.
That's that's great insight. My nature is I am a skeptic. I am a cynic, and I I thought that the fall time would be kind of a conservative time, but this seems, the way that you
A little bit
framed it,
more out.
yeah, even more, yeah, more realistic. But we'll see. It's interesting. I really like this because it really portrays how the market behaves and why the Fed is doing what they are doing, because they are trying to get those rates down, the inflation down. Um, right. Jerome Powell has consistently said he wants it down in the 2%. And when he sees that it can get down to the 2%, that's when he'll start to dial back the interest rates. So
Of course, a lot of this is also dependent on data that we have now. And so I'm curious to see the variables that they plan into these forecasts.
mhm.
I'm thinking of, for instance, just Downey and I were just talking about the president's visit overseas, right? And just kind of all of the unknowns right now in the political environment,
Right.
especially globally speaking.
Mhm.
The time from now until December, so much can change, so much can happen.
Right.
And so, these forecasts hopefully I would like to think that they're planning in X amount for random variables that they are not expecting, or just the uncontrollables that might be happening, such as things like war and international um, just what's going on in the international realm. And so I'd be curious. Something that I think I'll look up for Friday is forecasts that have been given and how closely aligned they've been with the actual data um, that comes out maybe within the past year. I'm curious to see how spot on some of these forecasts have been.
Yeah.
Be something good to kind of look at just to see, engage, moving forward, the likelihood of something like this coming to pass, or how often they're having to change their forecast to kind of meet,
Right.
ongoing variables that are released.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. It'd be interesting to compare this recession to the previous recession and what that market behavior looked like. But also what you're saying, the months leading up to this report, it'd be interesting to see what that looked like as well.
Yeah, that's a good find, Drew.
Yeah, I I appreciate it because what they're really trying to do is get that blue line down, right? And the black line is what they're doing to get it down.